Let's talk about misconceptions as it pertains to the FIRE movement. FIRE standing for Financial Independence, Retire Early. In fact, in this video, I'm going to cover the 5 most common myths or misconceptions. And no, my goal with this video is not to recruit you to my FIRE cult. I promise. And actually, we could call that a bonus misconception. This is not a cult. In fact, there is no official membership, no single website where you apply, no formal leader. Yes, there are a ton of Facebook groups, just like there are for all interests. There's a ton of blogs, just like there are for sports teams that I follow. There are tons of celebrities, just like there are in music or in the movie industry that people love and admire. And yes, there are tons of FIRE YouTubers, and as of a few months ago, I consider myself one of them. P.S. I haven't told anyone or asked for permission to join the movement, and I haven't had to. It's a phenomenal group of people, a phenomenal community I found, and a fantastic community I'm hoping to build here, just little old me and this little old channel, The Money Resolution. So subscribe if resolving to get good with money sounds of interest to you, or retiring early, of course. And the truth is, I've actually been meeting with people who found and watch my channel. Because 7 or 8 videos ago at the end, I announced I wanted to meet with viewers and chat about their life and their financial situation. I wanted to see if I can help as sort of a coach or support person. I wanted to be a thought partner, and people, to my surprise, took me up on it. People were everywhere on their journey. Some were full FIRE on the path to retire 10, 15, 20 years or more sooner than the average person. Some were just getting started, even in their 50s, because no, it's never too late to apply the principles to at least retire on time. Some were high income earners, some were low income earners, some were married with kids, some were totally on their own and single. Because no, not everyone that's FIRE starts super young or makes a lot of money. Trust me, the who of FIRE is all over the place. Needless to say, I'm no longer taking these meetings, at least not until 2021. And that's because I'm super hard at work blogging, creating YouTube videos, relaunching my website and first book, The Money Resolution, and creating the Save Money Resolution course, my first ever online course. By the way, learn more about that at themoneyresolution.com. For years, I denied being FIRE. Even with some of my money nerd friends, like 2, we joked about how extreme the FIRE movement is and how we're not sure how we feel about it. And personally, the reason I refused to join was because of the stigma of FIRE, which is crazy that I let that get to me because I'm on a mission to help remove the stigma of talking about money openly in the first place. So what was the stigma? Well, I'm actually gonna cover 5 in this video and hopefully disprove them because I was wrong and pundits of the community are wrong as well. But first, when did I finally embrace the FIRE principles and join the movement? Well, it's when I realized everything I was already doing are the same things that FIRE people are doing. I aim to save half my income, I max out all my available tax advantage retirement accounts, I invest in low-cost index funds and track either the entire stock market or S&P 500 with those. I love learning about money and keeping up with financial news, financial technology, and finance YouTubers. I love sharing what I learn with others. Okay, back to the misconceptions. What most people think about FIRE people that I found to be untrue. Here are the 5. They're all minimalists that own nothing. FIRE people are numbers nerds who obsess over budgets. They're cheap AF. They don't live in the now or enjoy life as much as they should in the present. There's one clear path the FIRE community believes in and follows. It probably starts with saving 50, 60, or even 80% plus of their income. Or it doesn't work. I'll extrapolate on that one a bit, obviously, when I get there. And of course, if you know me, I probably provide a bonus at the end, so stick around. All right, myth number 1. They're all minimalists that live in extreme frugality. The lifestyle does seem extreme for many, I'll admit. Yes, many in the FIRE community do save, 25 to 70% of their income, but they don't all identify as minimalist. And 25 or 30% of a savings rate is not extreme for most people. I aim to save half, and I own plenty of clothes, shoes, board games, tech, video games, and a few really nice household items that we've invested in. The idea, though, is that FIRE seekers aim to live on less than the average American so that you don't have to work forever or work yourself to death. You don't have to trade your time for money. Living with less is part of it, but not near what you think for many in the FIRE community. According to a TD Ameritrade and Harris Poll survey, the majority of financially independent survey respondents, 67%, said FIRE isn't worth it if they have to live as though they're broke. 40% said that they would limit travel or going on vacations in regards to what they would give up, similar to what people who hadn't achieved financial independence said. They didn't say things like stuff or clothes or gadgets. Yes, Principles of minimalism do parallel or even overlap a bit with the FIRE movement principles, but it is certainly not a requirement. In fact, a recent phrase starting to catch popularity is financial minimalism. And I'm not 100% sure how we define it yet, but for me, that means applying the principles of minimalism to your finances. It's keeping things simple in terms of how many credit cards I have, how many investment accounts I have, what I invest in, which, by the way, I have a video on that topic on the channel, and how I save, which is via automation, so money never hits my personal account where I might be tempted to spend it. When you keep things simple, you keep things organized, and I find that to be the reason I don't have to keep a budget. Speaking of, that's a good transition to myth number 2. Myth number 2, they're all budgeters and numbers nerds. The truth is, most Americans, most people, aren't doing nearly enough to save towards retirement. They're not on track, and actually most are far from being on track. So budgeting is certainly a great place to start. If nothing else, tracking your spending and setting up a budget for even just a few months can be an eye-opening experience. But I don't do it. I did it once or twice, but it wasn't for me. It felt a bit like a diet or like rules, and it never left my psyche when I was out and about or tempted to spend money. It felt like I'd get yelled at by my spreadsheet, and apparently my spreadsheets know how to yell. Most people quit diets, and a lot of people quit budgets. Again, it wasn't for me. Many in the FIRE community do budget, some intensely, but not all of them, that is for sure, and I'm an example. Instead, I plan at the beginning of the year and I automate my way to my goals with systems. Goals and systems. Set it and forget it. Honestly, I don't have time to analyze every number, nor do I want to, or how every decision, spending or investing, is going to impact my target retirement date. I think I might have an obsessive personality, but I never obsess over my numbers. And even for those that do live by their spreadsheets, and to be fair, there are quite a few, they should be applauded. They should be admired, because the truth is the average American has zero budget, and this is a big reason why they're falling behind. They don't know what they don't know because they don't track. Then at the end of each month, they wonder where their money went, and they wonder why they have nothing to show for their hard work. They might have negative money. So budgets can be good. Some FIRE people budget. Maybe you should give it a try as well. But there are other ways to save and cut expenses. Now, budgeters in the FIRE movement or not, I personally applaud you. For those of you doing what I do instead, which is set up a plan at the beginning of the year and automate your way to your goals, nicely done for you as well. For those of you that don't have a plan, don't have a budget, and don't know why you're broke, well, maybe now you know. Maybe it's time you start at least tracking by spending category, for example. Myth number 3, they're cheap AF. FIRE people only stream TV by using friends' logins. They never pick up the tab or tip above 10%. They definitely don't donate to charity because they hoard all of their money. Oh, and they never buy coffee. Okay, I don't buy coffee either, but that's not all of them, I assure you. And it's not that they, or maybe I should say we at this point, are cheap. It's that we appreciate delayed gratification rather than needing to do everything now. Buy everything now. Spend all of your money as soon as you get it. We don't move from one shiny thing to the next like most of society. Instead, what's at the forefront of our thinking is that we're looking forward to spending several decades doing what we want when we want. Most people in the FIRE movement give more than others. They give automatically as well. Some plan to give 10% of all income because they know that if you don't give when you have a little, you're not likely to give or give back when you have more or in retirement. I am not at 10% giving myself, but I am going to prioritize giving in 2021 as a commitment to myself. Let me know if you have, by the way, a great system for how I can automate my giving in the comments below. I'm not cheap, but I do pride myself on not paying full price for almost anything. Lots of non-FIRE people, by the way, do the same thing. Think crazy couponers. Maybe they're not crazy. Now, I do use credit card points where I can. I look for the best deal by comparison shopping. I take advantage of discounts on sales, but only when this was a thing that I've been wanting, not an impulse buy. I find enjoyment in getting a good deal, plain and simple. But I also find enjoyment in tipping well, buying quality items at full price that are gonna last a long time, and it makes me happy to buy a friend a drink without the expectation they're gonna do the same thing for me. And I find happiness in donating to my nieces and nephews' hobbies like dance and basketball, or donating in times of crisis. By now, I'm sure most of my friends know I'm conscious of spending money, but I've never felt like they think I'm cheap. In fact, nowadays I actually get a lot of text messages from friends asking where they can score the best deal on X, Y, or Z, because they too realize not paying full price feels really good. Because a penny saved is a penny earned. By the way, a penny saved and invested could be a lot of pennies earned. Just had to say that. Myth number 4, there's one path to FIRE. Most people think to be considered FIRE, you must save at least 50% of your income. Now, if that's actually the case, I'm not in the club, though I'm knocking on the door. I aim to save half of my pre-tax income, but the reality is I've actually never accomplished this in a complete year. Last year, I saved half of my post-tax income, which is still a proud accomplishment. And I think I might get there for the first time in 2020, but the verdict is out because it's going to be close, and they just released new game consoles and MacBooks. And then there's holidays and the unknown. Guys, I'm human too. Another myth busted. FIRE people aren't perfect with money. Nobody is. Yeah, you're going to get there sooner if you save half or more of your income, no doubt, but it's not totally necessary. And in fact, there are several types of FIRE for different people, their lifestyle, and their goals. I actually plan to do a video about the different types in the future, and I actually wrote about the different types in my latest book, Money You Can Hack It. Specifically, I wrote about lean FI, fat FI, slow FI, and coast FI. Plus, there's also barista FI and FI. Okay, I made that last one up, but there are consistently new paths forged as people share their stories and find new strategies. Now, fat FIRE means having a lot to spend in retirement, perhaps 2 million, 3 million or more. Lean FIRE, as you might guess, is the opposite of that. It might be living off 20,000, 30,000, or just 40,000 a year in retirement. So you may only need 500 or 600,000 saved and invested to reach financial independence. There's definitely no one-size-fits-all plan, and I'd even argue there's no one-size-fits-most plan. There are best practices, but ultimately it's up to you to learn and take what applies to you and your goals and apply it to your life. FIRE does mean being a lifetime learner, though, that adapts, because those that don't keep up in terms of financial literacy will get left behind. FIRE seekers resist impulse purchasers. They aim to live well below their means, but outside of that, the journeys are all unique, as they should be. For example, you can try to earn more and spend less. You can pay off debts and invest. You can focus on the big 3, that's housing, food, and transportation. You can invest in rental properties and become a landlord. You could obsess over credit card points. Some even utilize geo-arbitrage, where they keep their big city job but work remotely in a low cost of living area, which could be abroad. There's no single path, but just like in sports or trying to lose weight or learning how to cook or training for a job, there are, of course, best practices. I feel like I'm yelling, all fired up. Myth number 5, FIRE doesn't work. It's unrealistic. It won't work for most people. There's no point in trying. 25 times your expenses is not enough. Living off 4% of your portfolio isn't realistic. Medical expenses are way too high in old age. Kids' colleges need to be paid for. Emergencies happen. I was channeling my inner Susie Orman right now. I recently listened to a podcast episode on Afford Anything with Paula Pant, where Susie laid into the movement. It was shocking and honestly a bit upsetting because I think Susie's completely missing the point and the good that can be found in the movement. The principles are good and do work. Seeking early retirement gives people a goal at the very least. It teaches people how to get out of debt and increase their savings rate. It makes investing simple so they actually do it. It gives people hope, like real hope, not winning the lottery hope, which, by the way, millions of people waste their money on. FIRE people pay less taxes legally by taking advantage of tax advantage retirement accounts to the maximum. Does that make sense? They make themselves recession-proof by building up a strong emergency fund. And again, it's giving, it's paying it forward, it's building community and support. FIRE shows that anyone can reject the status quo and seek more out of their life no matter who they are. It shows we don't need millions of things to be happy. People seeking FIRE value experiences, spending time with loved ones, reading and learning, traveling, living a healthy lifestyle where they make their own food instead of eating fast food and takeout all the time. And thousands upon thousands of people have retired early. There's proof in this. Countless of examples of proof, actually. Many have retired in their 30s, some in their 50s, and that is still early and gives you 10 extra years of your life back, of freedom to spend with kids and grandkids, for example. I myself am aiming for 45 to retire, which is roughly 10 years from now. I assure you, though, it is not a pipe dream. For example, I live in Seattle, a big, expensive city, and actually made a video about pursuing FIRE in a big city like mine because it's totally doable. And actually soon I plan to make a video about reaching financial independence for those of you on a low income. It certainly can be done because it's not how much money you make, it's how much you save, your savings rate, that matters most. And here's a quick bonus because I tend to do this in my videos. They retire and do nothing. 75% of financially independent respondents from that TD Ameritrade study I mentioned said financial security is more important than retiring early. Only 35% said that they were motivated by the prospect of leaving a 40-hour week job. People overwhelmingly said that they were simply looking for work-life balance. Those who have retired early that I know anyway have found work that they love. It may not be full-time work, but it's still work. And in many cases, they go on to start their own company. They earn some sort of income that takes the pressure off relying solely on their freedom fund. Many go on to build passive income streams so that they can live off that until they can tap into retirement accounts without penalty. That's sort of my plan. Now, I imagine I'm going to continue to put in countless hours making YouTube videos for the channel here in retirement because I love it. And that's the point. Freedom to pursue a passion, one that still very likely contributes to society. Now, the truth is, it's the retire early part of FIRE that I think irks a lot of people and causes the controversy and the myths. It's a clever acronym, but I wish the RE was actually left off because people in the FIRE movement are seeking financial independence when they no longer have to exchange their time for money. In fact, I wish they would have called it FIOR, Financial Independence Optional Retirement, or just Choose FI, which is the name of a popular podcast I love. They also have a great book. Choose FI. Shout out, guys. Okay, final thoughts here. I'm just going to say this. The finance media certainly loves to talk about the FIRE movement, both positively and negatively, because people in the FIRE community all have extremely interesting, compelling stories. The kind of stories that make you think, how the heck did they do that? Or why the heck are they doing that? It's clickbait headlines that naturally pique our interest. Unfortunately, I notice that they tend to skew more negative than positive. So, thus the myths. And like I said at the top, people are all at different stages in their journey and it looks different for everyone. And that's certainly something I learned with meeting with people who found my channel over Zoom for the last, several weeks. By the way, for the 10 of you that I met with, say hello in the comments down below. Help the old algorithm. And that's my favorite part of the community. The community, the support. It's people that all want the same thing, freedom. It's people who think different, people that deny the status quo. They don't accept that they have to work for 45 years, punching in 9 to 5, Monday through Friday at a job they may or may not have a passion for. They don't accept hoping to build up enough vacation hours or sick days so that they can actually take a vacation, or hoping for a raise or promotion, hoping for a bonus, or hoping for a positive performance review. FIOR people don't get distracted by the Joneses or spending impulsively just because everybody else is doing it. They reject money as a taboo topic to discuss, even if that's how it was in their house growing up. They encourage conversation about consumer debt or student loans like I did in my last video. They refuse to accept the I'll deal with it later or the kick the can down the road mentality. Choose FI means symbolically joining a community of people that want more out of life, freedom of choice, and almost none of them retire or stop working, I assure you. Most of them pay it forward, share what they learn, and offer to help others along their journey. And all of them, all the ones that I've met with or just watch their journeys from afar, are beautiful, smart, intelligent people. People that I admire, people that inspire me. I'm grateful that I actually learned about this movement. I'm grateful that I finally did decide to own the values, whether I realized it at first or not. All right, guys, to wrap up, thank you as always for tuning in. Once again, my name is Frankie. This is the Money Resolution, where we resolve to get good with money so we can retire on time or even early. Subscribe if you appreciated this content and my approach to finance videos on YouTube. Like this video if you liked this video. It really does go a long way in helping others discover it. And let me know what spoke to you in this video. What are you still thinking about as we wrap up? Or just tell me I'm dumb and FIRE sucks, because any comment helps the algorithm. I assure you it won't offend me and I won't pray to the FIRE gods for you. Differences in opinion do cultivate conversation. Constructive conversation, and especially the listening part, is key. And that goes far beyond personal finance, by the way. Anyway, best of luck to you and yours, no matter where you're at on your finance journey. Check out my books on Amazon. Check out Save Money Resolution, my new online course coming soon at themoneyresolution.com. And I'll see you all next week on the next one. Oh, happy almost Black Friday. Make good decisions out there. By the way, we should call it Black Eye Friday. Remember how insane it used to be? Stay home and stay safe this Black Friday, guys. I'm gonna go shop some deals now. All right, see ya.